Hello and welcome back. In the last section, we tried to integrate with the Auth0 identity platform. We went ahead and built up the components, wired up the Auth0 with our app using the client ID and the domain parameters, domain values. But the thing is, we also missed one of the settings, which is in here, and we wanted to choose the application type, and we didn't choose that, and essentially it was not set. And once I set this to single page application and saved it, I was able to get it up and running. So if I go back here right now, not this one, it was actually giving me a 401 error before, but right now we should be doing fine here, right? So if I go to the token endpoint, so every time we click on sign in, it'll eventually invoke the token endpoint here, which is essentially the domain /OAuth/token, and in return we get a token here, right? I should think preview. Okay, so we don't get anything. It is actually an options call, a pre-flight request, and here is the actual request, and here you should be able to see the OAuth token, so essentially it will send us the ID token, which is a GAWT token, and consists of different elements like name, username, nickname, and all the scope, and expires in, and all that stuff. By default, it's set to expire in 24 hours. This is in seconds actually. All right. So right now we're able to sign in. We are actually signed in right now because we got a ID token, but we need to make sure we reflect that status in here. Right now we have sign in, register, and sign out all visible to the user. He doesn't know whether he's signed in or signed off, right? What do we do? So we go over back to our Navbar component, and in here what we're going to do is, inside of Navbar, let me close the other ones, close others, I'm going to import Auth0, essentially the use Auth0 hook, import use Auth0 from, and that's going to be from Auth0 React, super, and from here I'm going to destructure use Auth0. I need a specific property, and that's called is authenticated, and this will essentially let us know whether a user is authenticated or not. And I'm going to destructure this. Super, and then I'll come over to my render Navbar. So I'm going to use this property to check or verify whether a user is logged in, and based on that I'm going to essentially render these nav links. Let me try it for the sign in one first. Say inside of curly braces, if is not authenticated, if the user is not authenticated, then I want to show this particular link here, and essentially I'm going to cut this and put it in here. Super. So with this in place, we should see the sign in link go away now, right? Ideally should have. I still don't see that. Which means it's actually not signed in then, right? And let's take it one more step forward. What we're going to do here is, if for this particular sign out, what I'm going to say is, if a particular user is authenticated, only then we want to show the sign out link. Let's see if this one works out just fine. And another thing is, there is a typo in here. I need to make sure this is pointing to sign out. Super. So let's go back, and the sign out should go away. Yes. So which means we are not signed in yet, right? Super. So what we're going to do now is, I'm going to go ahead and sign in. It will take me to the Auth0 login page, and everything is pre-filled. I'm just going to go ahead and continue, and this will take me back to my window, and there we go. The register button has not gone, but the sign in button has gone off, and we have to sign out. So let's take care of the register as well right now. I head over back to our navbar, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to enclose this in brackets, right? And also in a React fragment, because there's two LIs down there. All right. And what else? We need to essentially put this LI, move this from here and into here. All right, super. So we are doing great here. So I hope this is clear, because essentially if it's authenticated, then we are essentially showing the sign out button. If it's not authenticated, then we will show the sign in and register. Okay, if he's authenticated, then we're not going to show the sign in and register. That makes sense, right? Super. So let's go over and check. Yeah, we don't see this register anymore. We have only the sign out. And if I click on sign out, we're going to come back to the root route, which is the landing page, and it says sign in and register. It shows those lamb links again. And looks like everything is working fine right now. So the only thing we need to do here is when we sign in, there is a brief period where there is a blank page that's shown, and probably that's the time when we want to show our spinner, right? And similarly when we are logging out, so let's say I log in and I log out, I get a blank page here as well. So we want to essentially show the spinner image there as well. Okay, so let's take a look at that in one of the subsequent lectures. I think we have come a long way here. We've made pretty good progress. And then in the next thing we want to do is whenever a user signs up, we want to store that user in our system, in our MongoDB, so that we keep track of our users in our MongoDB database as well. Okay, super. So this is working out well, and of course there is actually some issue here in terms of the height of the backdrop. We probably have to see that in terms of why we're doing that. We will do that and much more in one of our next subsequent lectures. For now, let's take a pause and come back soon. All right?